Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast, where we have fun talking all things hunting, and in the process, do our best to support small and family-owned businesses in the hunting space. Here are your hosts and resident bandits, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, and as always, I'm joined by the Corn Bandit, Richard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Glad
Awesome.
to be here.
Well, great. Well, in this one, we're going to be talking about an animal near and dear to us, and by near and dear, I mean a certifiable nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about him indirectly, I guess, and that is the raccoon, and as an extension, all his varmint friends.
Mm-hmm.
See how the coon is our mascot. Yeah. Because that SOB always finds your feed, and that's what we're all about. Finding awesome new and innovative products and services to bring to you guys, our listeners. We're really looking forward to this one. Really excited. It's going to be fun because in this episode, we're pleased to have joining us Haden Popnoe, owner of CoonHood. CoonHood is an innovative device used to prevent raccoons, along with other varmints, from accessing protein in chute-style feeders. Their patent-pending design allows the unwanted animal's weight to lower the hood, blocking access to the feed. Genius. Yeah. When no varmints are present, the hood remains in an upright neutral position, which allows the larger intended animals to eat freely, which is what obviously we all want as hunters. So, welcome, Haden, to the Feed Bandit Podcast. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, again, like I said, we're excited to talk to you. And you're typically how we get started here is tell us about who you are, where you come from, and how you got started in the business.
Yeah, okay. Well, I grew up in West Texas in Dawson County. Been all over Texas for school and jobs and other things. And being up in West Texas, we actually didn't have a deer season until just about, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. Dawson County actually invoked mule deer season. But before that, you couldn't hunt legally in Dawson County, and that's where, I'm from. So needless to say, I didn't hunt a whole lot as a child. Jumping around from all over Texas, you meet a lot of people. And I came across a bunch of guys that were into deer hunting, and I kind of got interested in learning more about the business. And once I moved into San Antonio, we went to one of the Texas Trophy Hunters Association shows. Uh-huh. And we were walking down around there, and we were kind of asking, and I was talking about some of the different, products that were out there, corn feeders versus protein feeders, and why this one over that one, and when you could use which. And needless to say, no matter who I talked to, I was talking to them about protein long enough, and it didn't matter which kind of feeder. They would always make a comment about raccoons. And it kind of got me thinking that, how can, such a big industry have such a huge problem?
Right.
And no one's come up with any kind of solution yet. So it just kind of started as a problem that I had in the back of my mind, and trying to solve it. And I knew that there had to have been some way that you could adapt a feeder or have a feeder of some kind that would give the deer a bigger advantage than a coon. And so with that thought, I kind of ran with it. And one day it just kind of all came together about the concept of how coons climb on top or hang from beneath the chute, of having a hood that actually moves with the weight of them to close under their weight. So in fact, they're actually shutting themselves out whenever they, engage the hood or try to crawl up and around it. Mm-hmm. And it was all about just trying to take advantage of that height mismatch between a deer and a raccoon. And it kind of started out as just a hobby, kind of tinkering around with the idea of it. And I kind of talked to some people about it, and they said, man, really might be onto something.
Yeah,
so
you're using
I continued on for a couple of years, and before long, started as a hobby turned into more of a ongoing project, and now we've actually turned it into a whole line of varmint guards using this whole concept of a weight-actuated moving guard, and just kind of seeing how the company evolves and goes from here.
Yeah, I mean it's genius, and you're using something that's free to all of us to your advantage, gravity, right? Yes,
Right.
When you look at it, yeah, they stand on top of it, it pushes down, and correct me if I'm wrong, and then if they're hanging from the bottom to kind of use the other arm to scoop it out, I guess that pulls it down as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's all about just watching them and figuring out how they're actually getting into these feeders. And if you watch them, the majority of where they do their damage is when they can get up on these chutes and they can just reach under and dig. And raccoons, as most people know, especially that feed protein, it's they don't just take out what they can eat. They're, I don't know if they're playful or if they just hate us, but they scoop out all they can just because they can. And they're raccoons, and that's what they do.
Right,
So
or they're smart enough to feed their other the coons that are under there.
Right, that too, or every other animal that's out there that wants some.
Right.
Well, I was just about to say I just got done writing a little blog about kind of my experiences trapping coons, and some of the pictures I have on there are of them on our Outback protein feeders, and the little dude straddling it and just dumping it out. And this particular picture, there happens to be a coon down there eating, reaping his buddy's hard work there. And then there's a possum down there as well. And you've got kind of a deer in the background going, my God, what's going on here? And it's just as Jimmy said, Hayden, it's just an amazing product. And it's genius. And one of the things that I talk about kind of in this trapping piece is that trapping is a super effective way of thinning out your coons. Of course, you kill 10, 15 more will show up, and they're just as bad as coyotes. But the trapping only works when you're there. And one of the problems that I think a lot of guys experience, especially ones with leases, that are 4 and 5 hours away. And this is something we kind of address in that piece is you go in there and you set the feeder up, and then you come back in 4 or 5 months and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Trapping is an option for those that are around to do it. But most of our customers are, like you said, they go out there to the lease, and the last thing they want to do is worrying about how to thin out the coon.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things about it is it comes down to your pocketbook, right? So there's two issues there. You got a lot of guys that have, I think, they'll have a lease where they're driving, a good amount of distance, from where they live to get out there. So they're loading up all their gear, but they're also loading their trucks up with, bags and things of that nature, to go fill their protein feeders up. And they go out there, they do all the work to fill up the feeder. They go back, a month or, I don't know, maybe 2 months later or something like that, thinking, if they're lucky. And I was like, I want to top that feeder off so I don't take nearly as much out there. And then you get there and it's like your feeders are way down below where you anticipated them being. And then you check your game camera, and what do you find on there? It's what we were just describing, those coons in there almost every night just scooping it out. And that's... Yeah, that eats into your pocketbook, I get, big time.
Yeah, definitely. Feeding protein from the get-go, and I tell everybody, it's an investment, and you've got to be willing to actually put the money into it to see the results. And then the last thing people want is to realize that their investment isn't going to what they thought, they were investing in. It's not going to the big bucks, and it's not going to grow on these trophy deer. It's going to grow in some really big coons.
Trophy coons.
And, trophy coons. No one's interested in hunting trophy coons.
Right.
Season, so.
Well, there is one there. You may be out of business, Hayden, if the coonskin cap market comes back.
Right.
People are going to want to feed these things, But I don't foresee it coming back. Although I had one as a kid when I made my first trip to the Alamo, and I really wouldn't mind one now. I'd be actually kind of cool.
But yeah, with the CoonHoods, it's great because if you're not out there to trap and you're not out there to go hunt and thin out the coon herd, with the CoonHoods on, it's kind of a leave it and forget it thing, and they take care of themselves. And when you come back, if you are one of the ones that have a game camera on your protein feeder, you find that they've given up the majority of the time, and those that haven't given up spend the whole night fighting and get very little out of the food.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you've actually seen them give up. That's something I never even thought possible. I just figured they would just keep going at it until infinity. They just keep going at it. But you saying you've actually seen them give up?
Yeah, and I've had many customers that have attested the same thing, that within a few weeks of just fighting it, because raccoons are just like any other wild animal, and they're going to go to the easiest food source they can get. Once they find it, they're not going to leave. There's no reason to. So with the CoonHoods on, the little handfuls they can get here and there by fighting it, it doesn't matter because it's no longer the easiest food source.
Right.
Oftentimes your neighbor's feeder is the easiest food source. And then in that case, they can also, give us a call.
Wow.
Let's talk about not necessarily how it works, because I guess we kind of hit that, but feel free to, reiterate that. How do you attach them to the feeder? Because it looks like on your website, I mean, they can pretty much be attached to really, I guess, any gravity type feeder, right? Can you kind of walk us through how that works?
Yeah, so we started out with just one model. Actually, the only feeder I had, I lived right in the heart of San Antonio, and the only feeder I actually had access to, because our land is not anywhere near here, was at a feed store just outside of town, and they had an Atascosa feeder. And so I went and I took measurements. And the way it attaches, it simply, each model is designed specific for that feeder or for a couple of different feeders.
Oh, okay.
And it goes on the end of it, and then it bolts on. So there's a mounting frame that actually attaches to the end of the chute, and then the hood closes around it. But each model is different for each protein feeder. So right now we've got around 12 models that span about 20 different protein feeders.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
Right.
Do you have any kind of partnership with the feeder manufacturers, or do you just you're obviously building these just third party to attach to them?
I've been approached by a couple of different people, and I tell them the same thing. Until I really know what it is we have here, I'm kind of reluctant to do that, because right now with just the attachables, it's one of the few things in this industry that spans the whole market, or the majority of it. Doesn't matter if you have a Boss Buck feeder, Atascosa, Outback. I've got one of the only products that spans this whole market. So I didn't really want to limit myself by just saying, okay, I'm going to partner with one particular manufacturer until I figure out exactly what CoonHoods are worth in the market.
Right. Sure. No, I think that's smart for sure. Okay, yeah, and if you're looking at, I'm looking here at your website where you have a good example of each of the feeder types. Really, I mean, and these are all brand names that everyone really have heard of, and you can see, how they fit on there. Nice.
Yeah, all the attachable ones, they just simply bolt on, and each CoonHood attaches in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
Hayden, tell us about do you manufacture a port, I guess large enough for, the larger snout game, so if you've got you've got a ranch in the Texas Hill Country, and you've got some, Gemsbach or Oryx or Kudu or, Tyrannosaurus Rex, whatever the hell they got down there.
It's the exotics, right?
Yeah, the exotics.
The exactly. Prehistoric exotics?
Right, yeah. Saber-toothed tiger, that kind of stuff. Do you have a hood that accommodates their large snout, or how does that work?
Really, what we try to do on the hood is simply match the opening of the existing chute. Because we don't want to limit, if the manufacturer decided they want a big chute or a small chute, they try to kind of match that size so that it still feeds as intended. And there's no issue with, the hoods being too small. So if there's a feeder out there that is already designed to feed those larger snouted animals, we can definitely, make a hood that works alongside it with the same kind of opening dimension, so they can still get through there.
Sure. Yeah, the one I always think about is the on the place that we hunt, we use Outback feeders, and I know that a handful of years ago they came out with a larger port for the big animal. So I was curious about that.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about, the extended part of their tube that's kind of expanded out that you can add on as an attachment. And I've looked at that, but really we kind of just, from the beginning, we've kind of just fabricated as we see need. So as orders come in, we say, okay, we're getting a lot of orders for this design, and then we'll start, and we'll make a model for that feeder. And then we have it kind of in an arsenal, and as others come in, if it's a design we don't have yet or something doesn't fit, I'll go ahead and make another design for that.
Right.
And then, then we figure out, hey, this one also fits this one pretty well, and this one fits that one. So it's constantly growing and evolving.
Right.
But we don't really push anything until we discover that there's a need for it.
Sure. What, as far as obviously, we know what stops coons. We've seen the proof of that. Have there been any other critters that have crawled onto feeders that your product has stopped from them taking all the protein? I'm just curious. I mean, has anybody had possums crawling on their feeders, or any of your customers? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, not that not necessarily possums. There have been some accounts of guys that have had squirrels.
Okay.
And it works the same way. And then not only squirrels, but some of them have birds that would land on top.
Oh.
We've seen that because that hood moves under their weight, they're very reluctant to actually land on it because of, it's not a stable foundation for them.
Now, when you say birds, would this be the whistling duck? You ever heard of the whistling duck? Have you ever heard I think it's the black banded whistling duck. They're okay. Yeah, they're a duck that lives. You see them more in South Texas, and it's being that I know we're both members of TexasBowhunter.com, and it seems like every other week we're seeing a bunch of pictures of these black-bellied whistling ducks just eating people's feeders, to bone dry. And I didn't know if they were. Oh yeah, it's fascinating. And I didn't know if they were landing on protein feeders as well. I had not seen it, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen any accounts of it from any of my customers, but the same way, if it's in any way landing on that chute, it's going to move out from under them. And the bigger the animal, the more effective it is, because the more it's going to move under their weight.
Right. Have you had anybody have any experiences yet with bears? I know the bears are becoming, especially in West Texas, are becoming, more and more of a thing. Have you had any customers test them out with bears?
No, we haven't had any run-ins with bears yet. A lot of people ask, just about the integrity of the hoods. If you look at them, they're made with sheet metal.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to judge just from the picture, from the video, actually how durable they are.
Right.
But the thing is, whenever you bend it into that configuration of that hood and you weld it,
right,
it's a very sturdy, a very solid, piece on that feeder.
Oh, sure. So, yeah, especially if it's welded. I mean, that's not going to go away.
It didn't go anywhere, and it's actually really hard to bend up even if you try. So we have had a couple of customers that have had cows rub up against them and stuff like that. I haven't had a bear get after one yet, but
okay. Yeah, I just was curious. It seems like we're seeing more and more of them every day here in Texas. Of course, the other thing is with your product, it can, obviously it knows no state line. Any protein feeder in the entire country. So that would be in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and all the other places. So I didn't know if they had any bear trials yet. So was just curious.
That would be an interesting case study.
It really would. It would be it'd be interesting to see how it would react to it. But as far as it being able to damage it, unless it was just dead set on trying to do so,
right?
It would be very difficult.
Sure.
For anything to really cause much damage to it.
Right.
Have you figured out, on average, for someone that has, let's say, a pretty severe raccoon problem, and they're not, they're out there trying to shoot them and whatnot, or but they just can't, make a dent, and they're getting to their protein, and they're really draining their protein. How much or how long it would take to kind of, essentially pay for the CoonHood on there, and then beyond that, of course, you're just saving money year after year.
Yeah.
Right.
Any idea on that kind of investment and how that would work?
Yeah. So actually, and whenever we started this, I had no idea how big of a problem raccoons really were with these feeders. Until some of my customers started reporting back how long their feed had been lasting and then how long it is lasting now, and it's consistently over 30%, sometimes up to 50% the life of your protein.
Wow.
Just from the way through raccoons. And I've got, I didn't believe it the first couple of customers that told me. I thought, okay, they're embellishing a little bit. But as more and more come back, they're getting roughly twice the life out of their feeder. And so what we've researched and stuff is on average, if you feed protein year round on just the normal protein, somewhere between $10 and $12 a 50-pound bag, you can estimate that for every one coon on your property, you're spending $200 a year to feed that coon.
Wow. I mean, I laugh, but it's sad.
No, this means war. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, and a lot of guys I talk to, a lot of them, they'll set up their game cams when it comes, hunting season, and they'll put it on their corn feeders and they see what they got. It's not until here recently that it seems that customers have been, or the market's actually been watching closer on their protein feeders. And of course, before this big rush in game cams over the last 10 years or so, people had no idea what was out there eating. So it makes sense that relatively unaware of how big of an issue this is.
That's a fascinating statement, Haden, and you're exactly right. I mean, if you're a hunter, and you're just hunting whitetails, okay, why would you want your game camera running in February, in January? I mean, if you're serving, you're not out there looking for that big deer. I never even thought about that. So you're right. There's a good chance there's a ton of fellas out there that have no clue where all their protein's going because you're, like you say, they don't have the game camera up. Never thought about that.
They don't have a year-round kind of holistic, if you want to use that word, view of what's going on at that feeder.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, or the way I do the math really quickly is you basically pay for it easily in one season, right? I mean, or easily over 1 year, but then maybe year two, or even within 1 year, it's gravy from there. You're saving that $200 per coon from there on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, some guys have reported, depending on how much they're actually feeding, if you're feeding filling up a 2,000-pound protein feeder, which a lot of these guys that have leases way off, that's kind of their only option is to feed a lot the few times they're there. Yep. And so the last thing you want to do is go out there and figure out that, that the whole time it's been unattended and just been ransacked by raccoons.
Right. Yeah. It's empty. You get out there and you get way out there, and then you look at your protein feeder and you see that it's almost empty, and you're like, well, I wasn't planning on a long trip into town on Saturday. Yeah. Cutting into all your fun time or work time that you had planned otherwise, That's
right. And before, if they didn't have a game cam out there, they just assumed the best. Like, hey, these deer are getting fed good, and my money's going where it's supposed to be. And
that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're like, wow, man, this is great. These deer are gonna have been eating all this protein. We'll see what happens this fall. And then they're sitting out there, and it's like, well, where are all these massive deer? They ate all this protein.
Right.
But look at these giant coons. I don't get it.
Oh God! Hey, we're asked by a lot of feed provider manufacturers to run tests and all that kind of stuff. So I'm constantly thumbing through video and game cameras and whatnot. And it's funny talking about massive coons. I have a picture of one. I have a picture of one that has no neck. I mean, he looks like a butterball with the tail. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure there's a fat rascal in there somewhere where he's just got to wheel himself to his tree because this guy is gigantic, and he is getting gigantic on the owner of Rancho Bandito's nickel, which so it's now it's funny in this particular situation where we're actually throwing protein from an all season 600-pound that we've kind of lowered the spin tray. We call it our house feeder, so we can watch them there during the spring and summer. So this guy's got a date with the coon cuff. There's no doubt. But
well, that's who you make your hat out of, right there.
That's right.
Yeah, you have a big head.
Yeah, I know. That's ironically enough, I did during the football helmet selection period. They're like, "Oh, you got to go over to the special ones,"
custom helmet.
It was awful. It was awful. But hey, so Hayden, I was looking at your website a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at the hood. And I don't know if you guys have any data on this, but you had mentioned kind of what we've always been talking about the absentee lease hunter guy who's out there and really can't get out there every single weekend, and so on and so forth. So talk about protecting investment, using the CoonHood to prevent the coons from getting on there. Well, one of the things that that you really can't fight, obviously, is going to be Mother Nature, and that being the rain. And as we all know, the rain will, in the traditional protein feeder, it'll just gum it up something terrible, And have you found that your hood actually kind of shelters the protein a little bit?
Actually, I hadn't found that myself. Customers have reported that to me, and actually multiple customers have actually come back and said, "Hey, it actually works pretty well as a rain guard as well."
Really?
Okay. Coming in the way it comes off the front of that hood.
Yeah.
And so it does, somewhat aid in the end of your chute getting wet and, all that protein getting clogged. Another thing is, and this is specific actually to our feeders, which we can talk about a little bit hopefully in a little while, but one of the features that we've actually built into the CoonHoods on our feeders is they have an extra little hole that allows you to push those down, and you can run either a piece of wire or an all thread through that hole, and it actually keeps it in the locked position. So either if it's off season and you don't want to, feed, but you have half a feeder left, or if there's going to be a lot of rain coming, you can actually lock those hoods in the down position and completely shut off all access altogether.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, this is a good segue. Tell us.
Yeah.
I noticed your protein feeder. I think I saw it on Texas Bowhunter. Talk to us about it.
Yeah. So we've actually just started these this year. I guess November was our actually beginning point. We're trying to get into everything running by February of this year when protein season really gets going. And so we've started these. We got a 1,000 and a 2,000 pound gravity feeder that, of course, come standard with the CoonHoods already attached. And now, what's really great about these right now, and what we are willing to admit, is the market doesn't really understand what CoonHoods are and still doesn't see the value in that. So these are actually priced competitive with any other feeder in the market, and essentially the CoonHoods on it are free because, if the guy's searching different protein feeders, we just don't want the bottom line to undercut us before they even start figuring out the value in the CoonHoods.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's a good little tip in there. Anyone listening, get them now while you can. I'm sure they'll eventually get pretty popular to where that price may go up in the future when people realize what value they're getting there.
Oh, for sure.
Right. As people start realizing, how much value are in the CoonHood, they'll probably be priced a little more as such. But yeah, for right now, we're just trying to get as many CoonHoods in any model or any fashion we can out to as many people as we can. So that's kind of our goal right now, and the feeders are evidence of that in their price point at this time.
Right.
Okay, great.
How has the I spend quite a bit of time on TexasBowhunter.com. Funny enough, I actually don't bow hunt, but it's become kind of an addiction for me, actually. And so, the first part of being addicted to something is admitting you have a problem, and I do. And I've been looking at Texas Bowhunter literally every single day since February 2009. It's crazy. So, obviously, just an outstanding group of folks there, a real kind of tight-knit community, and I hate using that word, but it's true. What's been your experience being an advertiser there? Has it been pretty positive?
Oh, yeah. It's, Texas Bowhunter has been huge in helping really, to push the product to, as many people as we have so far, but to help troubleshoot and understand every aspect of what everyone sees. The Texas Bowhunter community is very vocal. They're very good about understanding, really what's going to make a product succeed. And if you pay enough attention, there's enough knowledge on that site amongst all those people. It's a really great source. And luckily, when I kind of started, I was smart enough to realize that I don't have all the answers, but enough people in the industry, looking at the same thing, eventually will have the answers. And it's helped a lot, like I said, not only in getting the product out there, but refining the product to work even better than originally designed.
Right. And it's funny because when I first saw your product, I immediately this was before you had signed up for TexasBowhunter.com. I immediately thought, I said, "Oh man, this guy has got to get on this website," because a lot of the guys kind of fit the profile. I mean, first, if you have a free choice deer protein feeder, you need a CoonHood. That's just the bottom line. But if you have a free choice deer protein feeder and you're 6 or 7 hours away and you can't get out there but every 2 months, if that, you really need a coon cuff. You need a coon cuff or CoonHood, excuse me. Well, you need those too, but you need a CoonHood to protect your protein, potentially from the rain, obviously from predation from the coons. Talk about protecting your investment. And I started thinking about, I'm like, oh my gosh. What a great market to advertise to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really has been. I can't say enough about that community. They're really good. And the great thing about this market is it's an educated, very intelligent market. So luckily, I've been doing all the designs and everything with the business, and have just what little I have just been able to throw it out there. And this market's actually, intelligent enough to just educate themselves, and the CoonHoods just kind of sell themselves, which is great because, I haven't had the sales force that some of these other big manufacturers had.
Sure. Well, yeah, needless to say, when you've got something that works, and really all it takes to at least for me, all it took to convince me of it was to see the in one of the videos you have on your site, and just to watch the frustration of these little coons try to get the feed was, I mean, it was music to my ears. I'm like, oh, what now? What do you like that? Well, that's frustrating. Can't get it, can you? Yeah.
You can't eat my money. That's great.
It was quite an experience running that test. We actually had like I said, I grew up in Northwest Texas in Dawson County, and it's like all cotton country.
Yeah.
And when I told my dad about this, he's been right there beside me the whole time, and he said, I said, I really need to test this. I got to set up a test, and I don't want to just throw it out there because, I don't want them to give up and walk away, and I don't want to be testing for a year. I want a test. I need to know if this thing is going to work, and I should invest in it, or it's not, and I can pick it aside and go on to something else. So he said, well, he had an idea, and I went out there, and he had turned over one of these old cotton trailers.
Yeah.
And we ended up filling it with raccoons. I think at one time we had like 6 raccoons stuffed in there. Of course, this is before anyone calls anybody on me. We did have written permission from Texas Parks and Wildlife on it.
Oh, good.
we had about, I think, up to 6 at one time.
Right.
And as I said in the video, they weren't starved, but they were definitely motivated.
Yeah.
They didn't really have anywhere else to go. I wasn't going to let them die, but I wanted to see if they could eat it if they had to.
Jimmy, have you seen the video?
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, after I really wanted to know. I mean, I talked to these guys that are worried about investing a couple $100. I said, listen, I made the decision to invest a lot more than that. Trusting that this thing worked, and I only did that after my own testing.
Sure.
But it was fun, watching them for however many days or weeks we had them in there. But as you said, you could see the frustration in them. And,
that's great.
More importantly, you could see how effective they really were.
Yeah. No, it's a great video, and it's just it makes a real statement. Especially the fact that they're there. I mean, it'd be like testing it at a zoo. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. So what's in the future? Any other products in store? What's kind of the future for you guys?
Well, some people have asked about corn feeders and varying from the protein, and like I tell them, I said, until I can figure out a way to make the corn feeder or whatever it is better, I'm not going to jump in there. I don't be a small fish in that big sea.
Right.
You had a guy from SpinTech on a couple of weeks ago, and between SpinTech, the new design for that judge-style feeder, the eliminator spin plate, they kind of got the corn figured out. I mean, as good as it's going to get in my mind. I've got some other ideas as far as protein goes, and for right now, we're just kind of seeing what CoonHood can become and what it's going to do. But like I said, until we can develop a niche or in some way improve on a market, we won't be entering into anything, that we don't already have an advantage in.
Sure.
Well, you got a great product for the protein feeders. No question about that. And like Richard said, anyone who has one needs one, and then especially if you're driving a long distance to get out to your feeders, you definitely need them. Where can they find them?
Well, so that's also been a struggle, and one I really didn't anticipate. But for some strange reason, dealers that sell protein have a hard time wanting to sell CoonHood.
Oh my gosh! I never thought about that.
Yeah, so I've actually had a couple at least be honest enough to tell me that it doesn't take too much math to realize the money that customers are saving on protein, where it's coming from, and I can't blame them. I know they're trying to make a living as well.
Sure.
But and so I'm not going to badmouth anyone that chooses not to deal the product. But I will say that for the dealers that we do have set up, it's just a testimony to those of what they think about their customers and what they're really in business for. So,
exactly.
I mean, even if you aren't buying CoonHood product, these guys obviously care about their customers. So, right now for 2019, we've got Hop Powers and Lampasas, Hop Powers Ranch and Supply.
Yep.
And then Junction Warehouse Company. And then if neither of those are close to you or they don't have a model that you would want, still the best way is to contact me directly through the site.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what.
We can definitely deliver.
Yeah. We will do our best to help you out online as well. That's what we're here for. So we'll figure something out to help you out with there. Starting with this podcast, of course.
I was ecstatic to hear that someone wanted to talk about CoonHood. I've talked about it so much to my wife and family that they've all but banned the word CoonHood in the house. So
Right.
I was excited to, anyone else that wants to hear about it, I'll talk about it.
Well, great. Awesome. Well, like I said, we're here for you to help you out, do what we can. And I just say, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast tonight. And we really want to stay in touch with you, and, we'll work with you going forward. And we'll do another one of these really soon. Anything else you want to run across our listeners? And while you're at it, go ahead and give out your website and any other social media links or social media sites and that type of thing.
Yeah, our website is www.coonhood.com, CoonHood. You can also find us on Facebook /CoonHood, and then, as you said, on Texas Bowhunter. I'm always on there, or you can see quite a few different customers that have actually experienced the CoonHoods firsthand on there as well. And then also, like I say, anyone else that has CoonHoods, send us your pictures, send us your video, send us your results, because that's what helps us more than anything of getting the word out. It's just getting some kind of reputable results.
Right. Testimonials and
yeah, definitely
real world results, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
all right. Well,
definitely appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much again for coming on, and let's stay in touch about how we can help each other out, what we can do for you. And
yeah, definitely.
Well, and I'll just say I love the name. It's great.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely perfect.
I a lot of people have asked about the name. Some people are kind of uncomfortable about it. If you're a fabricator and you see the way this thing works, a hood is the perfect way to describe it, because it looks exactly like a welding hood.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect name. I think it's a perfect name.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of grabs attention. I don't know. It wasn't ever meant to be anything derogatory.
No.
Or anything like that.
Oh God.
But hey, I understand where you might, but I could say a lot about those people that go there, but I won't. I'll just say I love the name. Keep at it. Perfect brand.
Keep it up.
Perfect branding for what you're doing, and yeah, we will stay in touch. So thank you very much, Haden, for joining us on the Feed Bandit podcast.
All right, thank you, guys. I look forward to hearing from you again.
All right, sounds good. You take care. All right, well, folks, that was Haden Popnoe, owner of CoonHood. Really hoped you enjoyed that one. I know I did, because, like I said at the very beginning, it was deals with a little animal that's near and dear to us. I see that little brand every day. I tell you what, that's exactly where our brand came from, right, Richard? I mean, it was we're thinking about we want to help people out like Haden, get out there, get out to the hunting community, and but part of that is a lot of times we have to search for people that have these great products.
Oh yeah.
Just starting out, really trying to make a name and really trying to get their product out in front of people.
Right.
So it just occurred to us, it was like, well, hell, who else does that? I mean, essentially the raccoon, right? I mean,
right.
Always finding your feed.
Right? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, there's no doubt. And Haden's, the CoonHood product is yet another outstanding example of a guy who put it all out in the line to solve a huge problem. And boy, this protein consumption, or by the coons, that is, and not the intended target, is a huge problem. And so I just good luck to him, and I think it's a great product, and as we said, we're going to do everything we can to support it, because this is really cool. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. And just like we talked about, also just quickly doing the math. I mean, it'll pay for itself really fast.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I have you on here, is because me, quickly, and math never went together. And you guys are, well, the square root of a coon's weight times the length of his tail. I'm like, I'm not really following you here, but I'll take your word for it. But joking, of course. It is amazing how much they waste. The proof's right there, folks.
Oh, it's crazy.
It really is. It really is. And hopefully everybody listening here will tune in this weekend. I'm going to try to go get that little butterball with the cute little tail. I mean, he is a gigantic coon. So I'm hoping to get him this weekend. We'll see.
And are you going? Seriously, clean him. Get that.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Oh, maybe. Yeah,
I would try.
Well, hey, come on, son. You're welcome. You are welcome to come and see. The cleaning station is lonely. That's sure.
We'd have to hang him up on the. Is he that big?
That's right. I wish that would be interesting.
Awesome.
So.
All right. Well, that was Haden Popnoe, owner of CoonHood.
Yep.
So everybody out there, please go check him out over at CoonHood.com. There you can see all his products, especially the CoonHood, and now he has their CoonHood feeder with the actual hood already built onto it. And you heard him talk about how it's the feeder with the hood itself is actually priced comparable to really any of the bigger feeders out there without that hood. Right. So I mean, right now is really probably the time to go out. Not probably, it is the time to go out there and order a few of those from him. Before the masses, if you will, really realize the value of this thing, and you're talking several $100s more on top of probably because it'd even be worth it then. But now, I mean, if you're basically getting the hoods for free, now's the time to do it. So check them out over there at CoonHood.com. And I think you said Facebook/CoonHood or just at CoonHood on Facebook.
Yep.
Follow him there and see what he's got cooking up. Oh, and folks, don't forget to text the word bandit to 345-345, and that'll allow you to get on our email list where you'll get awesome deals on new and innovative hunting products and services delivered straight to your inbox. So as we run across them, we'll let you know of some of the neat deals that are out there. So text bandit to 345-345 if you are interested in hearing about some of these deals. So I think that's all I got for this one. You got anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, we just want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of the Feed Bandit podcast. I had a good time. You had a good time, Corn Bandit? Or should I say Protein Bandit now?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's definitely more appropriate. Oh, are you kidding me? I love doing this.
Awesome.
Good time.
Awesome. Well, along that note, we look forward to having another good time on the next episode. So everyone out there, take care. Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you want to find new and innovative hunting gear and service providers not typically offered through the traditional big box hunting stores, come on over and join the hunt at feedbandit.com/join. When you join, as a bonus, you'll get our entertaining free e-guide of unique hunting tips and tricks. And a reminder to all you small businesses, feed stores, gear inventors, or entrepreneurs in the hunting space, if you'd like to get more exposure to potential customers by being featured on the Feed Bandit podcast, please let us know. We'd love to discuss what we can do for you and your business. Go to feedbandit.com/promote. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, as it would really help us out. Go to feedbandit.com/iTunes. Thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, please remember to support your local feed store.